it's Steve Billy!
Sam, I'm not going to pick on you, I promise. But I did take a good look at you in the interval and I recognise your face from somewhere. And I just need to know, when did you move from Folkestone to Halifax?
13 years ago.
13 years ago? No, I've only been here a year and a bit. But I've got a really good, honestly, no, I've got a really good sort of memory for faces and things like that. And I promise I won't pick on you, but I'm sure it will come to me at some point. But anyway, on with the show. I was at this gay leather fisting club last night. Your watch! I'm kidding, no, I sold the watch. But it's lovely to be here in Folkestone. As I said, I've been here about a year and a half, and I love it. Give me a shout if you're from Folkestone or you live in Folkestone. Fantastic. That's Sandgate. I'm going to be honest though, it is a lovely area, I do love it. Tiny little bit of racism around, I've noticed. There is, listen, if you love something, you've got to be honest with it, and you've got to call out racism when you see it. I was walking down the seafront the other day, there was an elderly gentleman, I'd say he's around 70 years old, he was jumping up and down, shaking his fist at one of those small boats full of people, the vein popping out of his forehead, and he's screaming, "Go back to where you came from! You're not welcome here!" And I'll tell you what confused me, Folkestone, is I took a good long look at that boat and I'm fairly certain it was a seal watching tour. There were no immigrants on there, just a bunch of confused looking Londoners taking photos in their iPhones going, is this part of it? Is that a seal? My name's Steve Foran, and let me tell you a little bit something about myself. What should I tell you? Oh, I know. I grew up a little fat gay kid in a London Irish Roman Catholic family. Yeah, for those of you that don't know what that means, basically it means I was fucked at every angle. The only way in my family it would have been acceptable for me to have sex with another man is if I was ordained as a priest first. I like to get that joke out fairly early, right? Because I like to judge my audience by their reaction to that joke. And there's 3 different sorts of reactions, and I know what sort of audience I've got based on that. If there's laughter like you've given me tonight, and thank you very much for that, then I know it tends to be probably not a very religious audience, or if you are religious, you don't have much of a reverence for religion. Am I right? Yeah! If I get a sharp intake of breath, I go, then it's usually a fairly religious audience, maybe some sort of Christian denomination, maybe Church of England. But definitely not Roman Catholics, right? If I get absolutely nothing at all, then I know I am playing to a room full of London Irish Roman Catholics. Because they're all sat there going, where's the joke? And that is fucking true. I was an altar boy up until I was 17 years old. My priest never looked twice at me. Unbelievable. I used to ply him with communion. I'd be dropping hymnals so I could seductively bend over to pick them up. Butterfingers. Nothing at all. Unbelievably broken or something. I came out when I was 16. I say I came out, my brother told everybody over Christmas Day. As we say in our household, a family that eats together likes to fuck each other over at every opportunity. It's absolutely awful, I remember it well. We just got down to stuffing. My brother stood up and announced to the family, I've got some news, Steve's gay! It's horrible, there was silence, much like now. And that silence was spectacularly shattered about 20 seconds later by my 80-year-old nan, who stood up at the other end of the table and said, "Who's Ray?" Gay, nan! Gay! Gay! Imagine that being the last thing you said to your nan before she died. I'm joking, she didn't die really, and I'm really glad she didn't die. Because also at the mill was my cousin, Natty, and my affectionate nickname for her is Natty the Twatty. That's a nickname she earns. Put it this way, if her name were Bunty, it would be a very different nickname altogether, but still rightly earned. And Natty decided she wanted to get her 2 pence worth in, and she said, I've got no issue with the gays, I really don't. I just don't like it when they force it down your throats. You're one step ahead of me, you're one step ahead. Because my nan, quick as a flash, said, well, maybe Steve does like it if they force it down his throat. And if he's anything like his old nan, bit of practice, he'll be taking 2 at a time. Imagine that being the last thing your nan said to you before she died. She choked to death mid-demonstration on that guy's passport. It was awful. Awful. I was thinking recently about some of the gayest things I've ever done that don't involve another man's penis, and I thought of 2 really good examples. I always thought that when I was growing up I wasn't that camp, but I had a bit of a memory the other day. Example number 1, when I was about 6 years old, I insisted that my family went into a period of mourning for no less than 1 week and hold a full Catholic mass in our back garden, a funeral mass, no less, for the repose of the soul of Daphne from Neighbours. Daphne from Neighbours. Now, when I've been doing this gig recently, the audience is quite young, so I've had to change the reference to Madge Bishop from Neighbours. But I took a good look at the average age of this audience tonight and thought, do you know what, Steve? I don't think you're going to have any issues with Daphne tonight. They all know. My dad refused to go to Daphne's funeral because, quote, it's fucking ridiculous. And I threw a huge temper tantrum and I screamed at my dad, if you don't go to Daphne's funeral, I'm not coming to yours. And he just laughed in my face. Well, I'll tell you what, Folkestone, my dad's now 75 years old. His health is in sharp decline, and within about a year, we'll see who's laughing then. I'll prove to you I'm a man in my word. Another really gay thing I did, I was about 14 years old, and this is long before the time of Mamma Mia the musical, or We Will Rock You, or any of those musicals based on music of existing musicians. I wrote, produced, directed, casted, and starred in a musical on my council estate, based on the music of the Spice Girls. I was the most popular boy on the whole estate. Viva Forever, we called it. When I look back on it with a 21st century lens, I will admit there were some problematic issues, particularly with my casting choices. I cast myself in the role of Scary Spice. Oh my God, what was that? Scary, is that you? But it was a different time, it was a different time. And if I could change things, I'd probably change the finale when a couple of boys came and kicked the living shit out of me while I was trying to sing Wannabe. Although I didn't script that, very much improvised at the time, very much improvised. Anyone here work in uniform? That's you, here we go. Now you didn't admit to it, straight away, that's you. Do you work in uniform?
Sometimes.
Yeah, what sort of uniform do you have to wear for work?
A suit.
A suit? Oh! I'm going to go with hitman. What sort of job do you do?
An accountant.
An accountant? Yeah, I've done nothing on that. Nothing on that at all. But the reason I ask is anyone here like a man or a woman in uniform? You know what I mean? Oh, I absolutely love a man in uniform. I can't get enough of men in uniform. Which is why recently I embarked on a very passionate love affair with an 85-year-old lollipop man called Derek. You may laugh, but I will have you know that Derek is a very thorough lover. Yeah. What he would do is he'd go out on the morning shift and I had keys to his warden-controlled accommodation. So I'd let myself in, I'd strip down spread-eagled on the bed, spread-eagled, and I'd wait for him to come home. When he did, I'd make him seductively strip for me. And occasionally I'd get him to leave the high-vis hat on. Derek did want to do some naughty stuff with the lollipop. But I'll be honest with you, it's quite difficult to maintain an erection when you're being spanked with a giant sign that says "Stop Children." We made Mad, Passionate Love all the way through Loose Women and the first half of Dickinson's Real Deal. And then Derek would spoon me while we ate soup and he told me what life was like in the 1950s. And then he'd take a couple of his magic blue pills, ravish me again, right up until halfway through tipping point, and he had to leave to go and do the second run of the day. But I did have to end the affair recently because Derek was injured in the line of duty. Do you know what? I've got a feeling you don't give a shit about him. No, he was barged by an unruly child who was trying to rush to the newsagents because they had one of those rules, only 2 school children at any one time, and Derek fell over and he smashed his hip and he's had to hang his lollipop up for good. The passion quickly went out of our love affair because without the lollipop, Derek is like your average octogenarian with wiry grey pubes, saggy skin, and distended testicles that swing like the pendulum that brings down the clock. So I ended it there. I'm going to love you and leave you, but before I go, I just wanted to give a bit of a callback at the beginning. I did tell you that I was a fat gay kid in a London Irish Roman Catholic family, and I still have very much a reverence for my religion. It's quite difficult sometimes trying to reconcile the two. And there are examples, for example, in Leviticus it says that man shouldn't lie with another man in the same way that man lies with a woman. God hates that, it's an abomination. Yeah. I found were you clapping like on the front?
Ignore her!
Well, I found a loophole, so fuck you!
Ignore her. She's a porn lady, ignore her.
Because whenever I get fucked up the arse, I never do it laying down, I'm always standing up. Hey, I've checked that Bible several times. Nowhere does it say that man should go into the disabled toilets or Wetherspoons, bend over the cistern and tape it like an absolute pro. Folkestone, you've been amazing. I've been Steve Foran. Thank you so much. Have a great night.